it was a life-changing experience for me. It was maybe the best experience of my life. My name is Elise Cooper. I double majored in anthropology and Japanese at the University of Virginia. And I was at KCJS in the fall of 2019. So the really nice thing about being at KCJS and learning Japanese there is that the class sizes are really small. So my class size was only like 4 people. So I got to talk with the professor a lot more than I did at University of Virginia. And I really got to have like sort of in-depth discussions with people in Japanese. So I really sort of enjoyed that aspect of it. For my class, we mostly focused about sort of current events and reading news articles. So we actually had like a professor from Doshisha, where KCJS is located, like come in and talk about like economics and stuff, which is like one of the great things that KCJS can offer. Actually, one of the reasons I chose KCJS was because of the community involvement project. I thought it was a really great idea to be able to sort of work in the Kyoto community and to get to know Japanese people on a personal level. So actually, one of the things that I did for my CIP was I went to Nishi Honganji, which is a Jodo Shinshu, like Buddhist temple. And so I went to the services and I ended up like talking with the monks and getting to go to some of the local temples and being introduced to all these different people. So it was a really great opportunity because I'd always been interested in Buddhism, but I got to like experience it at a more personal level. So I actually did a couple of different activities weekly. So I also did volunteering at an English cram school where there were some other KCJS students, and that was really fun too because we got to have like parties together and got to talk with the students and like interact with both the Japanese teacher and students and also with the KCJS students as well. I think I was able to do it to a really great extent. I still have Japanese friends that I keep in contact with like weekly. So we do like video chats and stuff. And the sort of, higher ups that I met through my CIPs too, I can still contact them and email them about things if I have questions as well. So I've made so many great connections, particularly through my CIPs and just sort of trying to get more involved with the Kyoto community. So one of the really cool things I was able to do at KCJS was I started taking a graduate course at Doshisha University, which is the sort of affiliated university. It was really interesting to sort of participate at that level, to talk with different students from Doshisha and to also like make that connection with a Doshisha professor. So I took a queer studies course, discussing issues that were mostly focused on in the West, but then we ended up taking it and sort of discussing it and applying it to Japanese society, which I thought was really interesting. Or I was able to get a more personal look into like how Japanese people think of sort of queer issues or gender issues and how things are changing, and what sort of activism people might be doing right now. Before I went to KCJS, I wasn't sure if I should sort of study abroad or not. Obviously, if you do a semester abroad, you're sort of missing classes at your home university, and that was kind of scary to me because I wanted to graduate early. But I would definitely recommend doing it. It was a life-changing experience for me. It was maybe the best experience of my life. I definitely recommend going for a semester because you're able to sort of be way more immersed in the culture and to get to meet people and do really like interesting, great things. I honestly think that Kyoto is maybe the best city on earth, which I'm kind of biased, but I love Kyoto dearly. It has an incredibly long history, so no matter where you go in Kyoto, there will be like hundreds of years of history with like temples or shrines, but there's also really interesting sort of newer cultural movements. So like as I said before, with queer studies, you've got sort of movements related to queer rights and other sort of newer movements as well that you can see like touches of, but then you can also really get immersed in sort of more ancient cultures with things like No and Kabuki and stuff like that. So it's really an amazingly great city, I think. So I'll begin teaching English in the spring with the start of the new semester. That will be really exciting. I'm with a company called Interact, and I'm really excited. I'll be placed in the Tokyo sort of Yokohama region, so I'll be really close to a lot of interesting things, and I hope that I'll be able to interact with the communities as much as I was able to at KCJS and in Kyoto. Make it your plan to get out there and do fun things. Some people might be kind of scared to sort of go out to the community, but I can assure you that the more that you do, the more comfortable I think that you'll feel, because you get to connect to people on a lot deeper levels.